Yeah. Dougie, you had a very vulnerable and real experience one time, and we don't have to keep this on the podcast, but I do want to hear a little bit about you because these themes all tie together where you were in the bush and you found a young man who'd taken his life and you were one of the last fellas to see him. And, you know, men are struggling in this world and young fellas are struggling in this world, and they have the highest suicide rate out of anyone. Can you share a little bit maybe of that experience in an outline, and then how that's impacted you and your thinking around men's health?
Yeah, I can go into that. So I went for a swim with my mother. We always used to catch up and go for a swim together. So I did that. On my way home, I always go through this little bush section, and then I got to this section of the hill where you come around to the right and you go up this really steep hill. And as I come around the corner, as I was going up the hill, this young kid, it looked like he was wearing a had a dog leash, just cruising like that, walking around. And as I come around the corner, he literally just went straight up into the bush really quickly. And I kept driving past, probably like 80 meters up, and I just stopped and I was like, what? Like, that felt really weird. I'm like, where was his dog?
Yeah.
He had no dog. The way that his body language was very strange. I just drove back down to probably only about 50 meters. And then I got out the car, walked over the crest, and then I seen him still walking, just cruising. Okay, he might just be annoyed. He's had an argument with someone and he's just trying to get some space.
Yeah.
My body felt weird though. I had this weird feeling.
Yeah.
And then anyway, I drove back down. Yeah. And I drove back down to the bottom of the hill, which is probably another 50 meters. As I got to the bottom of the hill, I could see him directly up the hill, climbing up a tree with the rope.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, this is happening. That feeling was of weirdness. I'm like, and then so anyway, I flew up the hill to hit that same height where I walked over.
Yeah.
And basically when I come over the crest of the hill, he was hanging from the tree.
Shit.
I thought might have been able to save him, but
yeah,
he was gone. And I stopped, and then I was like, it's such a weird feeling when something like that happens. Like, it's hard to describe, like the feeling, like you don't know, like you can't believe it just happened. You know, you're in shock, it's all these things that happen. So I ran back to the car, and then I drove out the bush so quick. And so I went to the first house, and I basically was like in so much shock, knocking on this door.
Yeah.
And then the people that were there went up to Lock. His name was Lockie, the kid. He's 14. His name was Lachlan. And I was hard on myself for a bit because I was like, I wish I went over to him and just went actually closer to him. I didn't listen to that feeling inside my body that was like, no, you should go over and actually just talk to him, see if he's okay.
Yeah.
And then I later found out that he was severely depressed. He had a foster mother. He tried to do it before. Right. And that day, the cops were actually looking for him, and his mum was looking for him when all this was happening. So she knew something was going to happen, but they couldn't find him, and I ended up driving past him, and then it all unraveled. It happened so quick. Like, he didn't even hesitate. He literally just went to the tree and was in the tree, and then he was out the tree.
Yeah.
And he knew I was there. Yeah, after that, that was crazy.
So how do you think that experience has influenced your own path, your own feelings around mental health and depression? And because for me to even think that a 14-year-old guy has no options, that he in his mind is thinking, I've got no choices left, that are worth making in life. That's very sad. And that's something that it affects us all, in the world.
yeah, it was one of the saddest things I've ever experienced. And like you just said, a 14-year-old boy has made up his mind that he is going to go jump out of a tree with a rope around his neck. At that age, he made up his mind up, obviously that strongly, that that was going to happen that day. There was no like, oh, this dude might be coming over to help me. I might not do it. Like, or he was just like, he was so certain about it.
Yeah.
And that's like, that is mental to think about. Mental.